If you thought that when you leave your house on a daily basis you'd be unsafe, then perhaps you'd never leave. And if words or rumors like that spread around the community, no one will leave their homes. And then no work will get done. And then the country will not grow. And the economy will not improve. So when people say they are traumatized after experiences where they've been nabbed, perhaps in a moving vehicle, perhaps they've been robbed in their homes, they've experienced some sort of banditry, and they become traumatized to the extent that they cannot leave their homes, if you put yourself in the position, then you can't truly understand. And that's why we've come to learn that security is everyone's business. We know that we began to say yesterday that when you see something, you say something. But there's a process. Like Oyekachi, one of our experts here on the program, has said that there must be a why, there must be a when, there must be a who, so that those who are concerned, that security agencies, for example, can take center stage. We've been talking about security consciousness. We began the conversation yesterday. We continue today. We invite you, as always, to be a part of the program by sharing your experiences. In our background feature, as Francis tackles Dr. Hassan Sadiq about security consciousness and challenges that emanate from insecurity, he says insecurity affects everything in a nation, from the family to housing to productivity to education and the economy as well. Francis, please share. What else is there?
For some time now, over past 10 to 15 years, we'll be having these security challenges ranging from Boko Haram, banditry, kidnapping, and all sorts. Even farmer-header clash, which those are majorly in the North Central. Northeast has its own, and Northwest also has its own. So we'll be having all these insecurity challenges. With the government, I think, trying their best and effort to also to fight it. We can see that on that basis, the insecurity in terms of defense security has taken us backward because it affects our economy, our movement, and what have you. But despite that, government is trying in their own area to see that we can be able to overcome this. But despite that, we also have issues on family value, which have lost in society. Because today you can see, if you talk of Yahoo, people encourage their children to go into such menace. Even prostitution and trafficking. A lot of people are involved in all social vices. But people who are aware did not tend to care and now report them. If a simple example, in your street, in your community, you are aware a group of boys who are growing or a man involved in terms of kidnapping, and you are aware the way the person is living, there's no justification, and you've never made any attempt to even report to security agency or enforcement, either to able to call the person for interrogations and all that, and you feel, I'm less concerned. Now it will come back to you. That is why I said poverty anywhere is insecurity everywhere. If you are entering a car, those who enter what we call along, now you see that the men who are inside, their faces, the way they look, maybe you are the only lady who want to board the taxi and you saw the kind of men, you can definitely say no, you are not going to enter the car, because some of them, they are one chance. In some cases, when you are entering the car, you should be able to say, okay, maybe if it's late in the night, let me see your boot. The essence is because we have already get to the level where you don't trust the people you see. So the only way is for you to be conscious. Then if you are now making a phone call on the street, you need to look, because there are issues of phone snatching, especially where it is dark. Whenever you park in a public place you are about to enter, you also need to have that conscious mindset and look before you enter the car. And when you enter the car, most cars now has central lock. You lock it. All these are part of measure that you needed to put in place in terms of if you are in public, if you are in an area that is not safe, so that on that basis you'll be able to be streetwise. In fact, at a certain time, we are even educating people that if you are traveling, you should look unassuming. You don't look flamboyant, you don't look flashy, so that you don't become vulnerable. Then while at the time, okay, if you are boarding a public transport, if it's on the highway, you have to be watching the driver. If he's making a call, what kind of communication is he making while he's on the steering wheel? Because all these are measures that you can put in place, so that will be able to help you. Then to know that, okay, the man that you boarded the car is not communicating with the kidnapper or whatever. Because there are so many incidences people have boarded the car. It is the driver who even drove the passenger down to the den of the kidnapper. Then if it's even your own car you are traveling, you also watch on the road. There are some cases where they put stone on the road, where that if the stone hit your car, then definitely your car can break down and people will come from nowhere. All these are part of measure that you needed to put in place and see, so that if you are traveling on the highway, if you are also within the community, if you are closing from work, people need to know.
Weekend Deal today is captioned Security Consciousness.
The discourse about security consciousness, yours, mine, and everyone's, continues today. We started a conversation yesterday and we went far and wide, visited many parts of the nation, and we got to see what vigilante groups are doing in communities, in states. And we'll talk about that today on the program. But Kohol has put this package together, and the focal point is promoting the culture of vigilance.
Nigeria, a nation rich in culture and potential, faces security challenges that demand innovative approaches. We shall explore creative ways to curb insecurity and create safer communities across the country.
Ensuring security of life and property of the people and the nation is our responsibility. I'm saying that the people, private individuals, also have their roles to play to ensure not just their safety, but the safety also of government property and of the nation. Security is a collective responsibility that cannot be overstressed. You cannot say that enough, because we have to keep saying it so that people will understand that security is their responsibility, not just our responsibility.
Community-based watch programs empower ordinary citizens to actively participate in security efforts. Through regular meetings, trainings, and cooperation with law enforcement, these programs establish a strong network of vigilance.
Community policing, like we can call it, is very important. It brings organization. It's easy for them to just, get information or go around, do their own minor surveillance, and then know that this is it, and then report to us. Because you cannot say that you have enough manpower to do the entire job. So, but the most important thing is collaboration, is working together, providing intelligence. When we work together, not just the vigilante now, the entire security agencies, when we work together, we bring head together, we add head together, I think would go a long way in ensuring better security. If you see an unusual thing or an unusual person, make sure that you follow the person up, not necessarily following him like on foot or anything. Just make sure that your eyes are fixed there to see what the person is doing. And if you can't ask questions, come and report the person. Then staying safe while you're working at night. Now it's not safe. It's not always safe, to be out there too late into the night. But while you're working at night, make sure that your whatever possessions are guarded, safely, jealously. And then if anybody is, telling you, be very conscious that you're taking the next turn and the person is not taking that same turn. Even if you're driving, people may be telling you without you knowing. That is why you have your rear mirror that you can use to see behind you. So while you're driving, you're also vigilant. While you are on the traffic, yes, you have to obey traffic rules, but while you're there, you're vigilant about things happening around you. Communications too, when you hear things that are not normal, when you hear things that are not usual, you have to be mindful, and you have to take some of these informations to the appropriate quarters so that the right thing can be done about it.
In Nigeria, the fight against insecurity requires creativity, determination, and collaboration. Through community engagement, youth empowerment, partnerships, and social awareness, we can build a safer nation for generations to come. If you see something, say something.
Interesting, Koho. You know, we've been talking about that. When you see something, you say something, but you must be very sure about what you're saying. And when you are in doubt, don't. And even when you decide to speak, you must be speaking in the right quarters so that they can make the right decision and they take the right steps. It's time to meet Dr. Usman Mohammed Jahon, is the Commander General of Vigilante Group of Nigeria. It's great to have you on Weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Some of our features from different parts of the country have already showcased how much work vigilante groups are doing to ensure that people in communities and states are safe. Welcome to our program.
Thank you.
So now we have you on ground. You can give us a panoramic view of what's happening nationwide. But first up, who qualifies to be a vigilante?
Well, number one, we have a process and procedures for one to be qualified as a member of vigilante group. Number one, you must be a Nigerian. That is the first qualification. You must be free of crime, that you've not committed any very serious crime. Then you also have to be commended by either your two people from your community, the community leaders, the divisional police officers, the local government security chief, that's the DSS. These are the people that will recommend that, yes, you have a very good manner. Then when you bring all those data for us, we'll be able to say, okay, we absorb you within your own community. Then we give you a little bit of orientation on basic security aspects, then before you'll be able to support or work within your community.
Interesting. Yeah. Is it a true statement that vigilante members are equipped to the point where they can carry arms?
No. You know, the vigilante group is a community-based security organization. So the issue of arms, we are not, we don't carry arms. We are not licensed to carry arms. However, individual can follow due process of having his own personal arms. That is the one that is being approved by the government, but not as a group or not as an organization.
Interesting. You talked about, when we're having our chat behind the scenes, you did say that collaboration with existing security agencies is key to your success as a group. Tell us about that.
Yes. Collaboration is very key, Partnership, coming together, especially with the Nigerian police, who are our principal partners in crime prevention and control. The armed forces, which we've been working together for some time now. All other security agencies, formal security agencies, the NDLEA, the NAPTIP, the NAVDAC, all of them, we work together within our community. If there is anything that happens that has to do with drugs within our community, we collaborate with the NDLEA. I will make sure that that community is taken care of as far as drugs or related offenses are concerned. If it has anything that has to do with NAPTIP, traffic in persons, we observe within the community. We look at if there is any sign that, yes, Mrs. A or Mr. A is trafficking in, they will be able to report to the appropriate authority. And who are the appropriate authority? The NAPTIP or any other organization that we can report similar incidences. Like the DSS, we work with them, Also, we give them relevant information that has to do with their own work. The police, we work together, we patrol together with them, especially in the night, within all our communities. We have what we call a vigilante desk officer in all the divisions. That is when you talk of community policing process. So we have those people and security agencies. So the partnership is very cordial. Like myself, from my name you see they say FSI. FSI is Fellow Security Institute. You cannot be an FSI until you attend National Security Institute, which is owned by the Department of State Services.
Okay.
So you can see that is the partnership we're talking about. Yes,
Interesting.
and most of our people attend basic training in police colleges. That is partnership we're talking about.
Okay.
Yes.
Vigilante is a word we've been hearing for a long time in Nigeria. We know that they are active in 36 states and then the FCT. So tell us, what has the journey been like? You say you've been at the helm for 8 years.
Yes.
What do you find on a daily basis? And how are you positioning yourself creatively to overcome or surmount the security challenges that Nigeria faces? We have the local security challenge where we have pickpockets, we have bandits, we have armed robbery where they break into houses. Then we have like the major one we have insecurity in terms of terrorists and all of that have bedeviled some parts of our nation. But let's start small.
Yeah. The vigilante group has come a long way. We've had series of ups and downs, series of obstacles, because even when I'm talking of, I just talk of partnership now. Before you are accepted by any security agencies, they must make sure that yes, what you are doing it for the purpose of members of the community and the country, and that whatever you are doing it without any thing in mind, maybe trying to say, okay, this is to benefit. Yeah, so that acceptability must be there. So we are able to make sure that we are accepted first by the security agencies. That has been cemented, that has been fine. Now, operations. How do we work with these security agencies? They have to test us, they have to work with us and see whether what we said or what we told them, we are really serious about it. And that they have tested us and they have seen it perfect and we're fine. And before now, you can see the vigilante group is more of the north. Okay. But now we have gone all around the 36 states and the FCT to make sure that we have branches. Any state you go, you can get this uniform. Okay. We have our offices in all the 774 local government. We visited the chiefs, the emirs, the obas, the obis, all of them, we visited them to make sure that whatever we are doing is open. Okay. So that there is
you can get support from all the communities.
And we can get support from all the communities. And we are getting support from some of the communities. Some of the communities that are very conscious, or rather are conscious of security. Definitely they support the vigilante group. And in most...
What is the impact that you are making now that we are really... that's the direction we're heading. Yes. How much positive impact has vigilante group made in different areas? Tell us.
Yeah.
How do we handle that?
Yeah, you see, one important aspect in security is being conscious. A lot of people are not conscious of what is really happening. You need to know, you need to learn about security. You need to have consciousness about your security. You need to know about your environment. If from here, NTA, and I'm going to say Gwagwalada, I should be able to know the bad areas from here to Gwagwalada. I should be able to know from here to Lugbe what is going to happen. I should be able to know in Lugbe, is there any sign of any crime or anything. So that consciousness must be there. And people must learn to be very conscious of security. Don't just wake up from your house and say, okay, let me just go to work without knowing the environment. People like you now, maybe you leave your house 5 o'clock, you come to this place. From your house to this place, what are the risks? There must be risks. Because you are leaving your house, nobody on the road. What are the risks? That is one. 2, reporting. We don't have this...
But tell us of the likely risks, because, you know, I just come out, I drive out, I look left, right, and I just keep moving. What ought I to look out for? And people like us who sometimes have to leave home quite early.
Yes.
What can happen?
When you leave your house, you don't just from your garage or from your where you park your car, just move on your car and start moving. You have to stand, you watch left, right, center, because somebody must be maybe hiding somewhere. You have to watch left, right, center. You come out with your car before you even start moving. You should be able to, number one, make sure that your car is in good order, so that by the time you start moving, it will not stop. It can stop any time, but make sure your car is in order. You have the first parade. That's what we call the first parade. Make sure, yes.
Check your personal,
Check your vehicle, check everything, your tire, everything. Then you start moving. Then you check as you are moving, you are looking ahead, not just ahead. You look ahead. You look slightly right, slightly left. Then you look at your mirrors and everything. As you move, also, anytime you are moving, you are watching. You don't, when you are on the road, you don't trust. You are the best. You don't trust
lower
anybody.
your guard.
Yes, you don't trust anybody until you get to where you are supposed to go.
We have people who sometimes try to help people. You know, in these times now,
Yeah.
many people have had to park their cars for a bit because of the cost of PMS. So some people, with the goodness of their heart, they sometimes give lifts in the
Yes,
morning, even before dawn breaks.
it is not advisable to just because somebody fuel finish or anything happen, you give him lift. Unless you know that person. If you don't know that person, please leave. Just go ahead and move. If anybody has a problem, he needs assistance. The security men are there. The police are there. Ask them, please, I need support. I need your help. They can stop a vehicle for you. Probably say, okay, please help this man after they check you. But just because you are a Father Christmas, you just stop on the way, carry somebody because he hold gun. He can have, maybe his vehicle is filled up with fuel. He can also say, okay, let me, as a criminal, they have a lot of different ways to deal with, especially those people coming out from the house very early in the morning. Sometimes you have your vehicles outside. You just come, you don't even check anywhere. Pop, you just open, and this handset we're using. People, especially, sorry to use this thing, especially our women, they will see them with their handset from the place from their house or from their bedroom. They will start chatting up to their vehicle. They'll just open and start moving. You understand? So there's
Guilty.
Yes, put your handset in your bag. Observe the environment. Get into your car and move. While you are moving, you're also observing.
You should be vigilant.
You should be vigilant.
And someone even said in that package that women and children are most vulnerable.
Yeah.
They are also encouraging us to also go and to be prepared in terms of learning some skills. Judo, karate, boxing, you know, that we should get ready.
Well,
When all the vigilance and co has been done, perhaps we see a security risk. Perhaps we face an obstacle. Perhaps we face a security challenge. You know, how prepared ought we to be? How prepared are we?
you see, self-defense is very good. But even if you learn karate, how many of us will learn karate? How many of us will
Sir,
learn?
you will teach me. I will come with some of my colleagues to come and learn from you and your
No
man.
problem. So how many of us will learn karate? That is the issue. That consciousness is much more important. The self-defense is also very good, but we should have that self-discipline. We should be disciplined within ourselves. Discipline in the sense of security. Most of
Always
us
be alert.
always be alert.
Let's
You should be the police of yourself.
Of yourself,
You should
okay.
be the security of yourself. Not that somebody will just come and challenge you just like that. Like this self-defense we are having, now we have some instrument like a prototype handsets
Okay.
or a key holder that anybody that comes to you, you can press, you can touch that thing and it will shock that person. These are the
Okay,
things that
okay.
are all good for. But people like me and you now will go and start learning karate
Karate.
because we want self-defense.
Ah, okay,
You can
it's
imagine.
interesting. And I know that you have some skills that we're going to come and learn. Okay, but we'll come back and continue our conversation because really, if you face all what we're discussing now, it sounds like, you know, it's light-hearted. But when you see the real challenge, you know, it can it can be very traumatic,
Yes.
and we need to be prepared to face it. Stemming the times of violent crimes is what Abeokuta is taking a look at, and that's where we go at this time.
The alarming rate of violent crimes in our society is becoming worrisome by the day. News of violent crimes like kidnapping, armed robbery, arson, as well as terrorism make headlines in the media every day. The situation has degenerated to the level where citizens almost lost total confidence in our security system. Their response to violent crimes is often regarded as poor, ineffective, and reactive at most times.
We have discovered that these hoodlums have come up with a different strategy. That is why it is equally important for us to be ahead of them, to equally change our strategy to stem this going trend.
For example, if we are doing bushcombing, we have to make a lot of assessments of where we are going. And we don't just go ordinarily like that. There have to be an area view, even from above, through planes, jets, to overview the place before we go into it. If not, you don't know what people you are going to meet there.
Lack of synergy and interagency collaboration in intelligence gathering and sharing is one of the identified challenges in stemming the tide of violent crimes in our society.
Governor Dapo Abiodun, MFRCON, is currently doing, even last week he still had a security meeting with all categories of security agencies, irrespective of your affiliation, to see how there could be a collaborative effort. Because the word there to actually nip this crime in the bud and be successful in it is that there should be collaboration.
Meanwhile, to stem the tide of violent crimes in our society, it is important to decentralize and demilitarize our security system. More efforts must be geared towards local participation of the people in terms of community policing or neighborhood watch and vigilante service.
It is expedient we meet at regular intervals, especially now when there is an upsurge in the level of crime and criminality in the state. We always have strategies on ground, but with periodic engagement, we'll from time to time review these strategies.
We should all be all involving. We should be sincere. We should be genuine in nipping those crimes in the bud. And we should also relay information within ourselves, share information.
Besides, people are urged to be more security and safety conscious at all times, while security agencies are advised to change their approach from being reactive to being preemptive and proactive.
Interesting. We're just spending time in Abeokuta now, where all hands are on deck to stem the tides of violent crimes. Our Commandant General is here with us. Let's take a look now at all hands working together, collaborating, all in a bid to stem the tides. Would you say we are succeeding in stemming the tides of crime?
Yes, yes, we are really succeeding. If you look at, before now, I know we have a lot of problems, even within other security agencies. That rivalry is there. But now I think things are getting better. I can go to IG's office, I can go to Commissioner of Police office, he will listen to me. And I'll tell him this is what is happening within so place. He will listen and we'll work together as a team. It's a teamwork. They say teamwork is a product of discipline. The NDLA, I can go to their boss, we'll sit down with him, tell him these are the areas that we think we have issues. We work together as a team. So we are succeeding. And nobody is looking at anybody as superior.
Okay.
You know, everybody is looking at everybody as a partner. Before now, people, as some organization will say, no, we are more superior than you. You know, we are august. But now, I think the partnership is there, the cooperation is there, is deepening, and there is good results. We're having a very good result.
At the end of the day. Okay,
Yeah.
A message just came in. We have, let me just take two of them and you can tackle them. Someone says here, okay, Ahmed Wukari from Taraba State says, a lot of this insecurity starts from parents and guardians not taking their children in hand from the home. They have not instilled the right tenets in their upbringing, and that's how they can go out and commit petty crimes. We also have King Datun from Taraba as well. He's also reiterating it. He says, many parents these days are not raising their children. And the community too ignores those children. If parents don't want to raise their children well, no one else will. Unlike in times past, well, everyone looked at children from a particular house as their own. Now your child is your child, my child is my child. So parents who don't raise their children well now come out and become a menace to society. Does this tally with what we're discussing?
Yeah, very well. We have this child parental neglect in most places. You have your children, you send your children to school, you don't care how they get to school, how they come back from school, no matter how little they are. So what I think the solution should be for me is that there should be, a curriculum should be part of, that is security curriculum or crime curriculum should be part of what the children will be studying at home. In school. So that consciousness will be there right from the word go, right from the primary school level. That consciousness of security should be there. It should be imbibed in their own curriculum, so that let them learn about security, let them learn about consciousness.
About patriotism too.
Yeah, patriotism. These are things that we need to teach our children. Then other areas is, like I said, the neglect of parents to their children. And also influence. You know, you can train your child.
Peer group influence.
Yeah, peer group influence. You can train your child perfectly, and is doing well. He just enrolled into primary school, and somebody's child who is not well properly trained will come and now spoil your child. So these are the things that we have.
But those children now come back home. We find cases where. You know, I've had a story where some parents found some objects in the room of their children, like armed things that could cause bodily harm.
Yes.
You know, and they did not tackle it.
You see, that is why we need to always, that's the consciousness. If you look at your environment, if your environment you think there are other children that you don't trust, anytime your child is go to school, if he comes back, check him very well, check him properly, ask questions. You know, if she's a female child, ask question. You know, ask question. Who is your friend? What do you do in school? Who bring you when you after breakfast, during breakfast? What and how do you play? What kind of play do you do? You understand? From there, you'll be able to know, this is my child, something is wrong somewhere. Observe him.
They are getting involved with
physical
the bad gang.
observation, mental observation.
What about the community? Because, like I said now, a parent or some parents found some objects that could cause harm to people and society in the home of, in the room of their child. And because of the emotional attachment and sentiment, they did not report it. So, but some people in the community have come to notice that that particular child, he has a few friends who look like they are becoming a menace to society, you know.
Yeah, you see, in that case, there is a course we do in community policing. We call it ward safety. That ward safety, you have group of maybe your
when he lands.
Yeah, your pastor, community leaders, youth leaders, and whatever. You meet every day, every week, maybe once a week. This kind of issue that is happening with your children, you can bring it to that ward safety group, or ward safety, whatever.
So they can talk to the child.
So that they can talk to the child. Why you talk to your child? The community should also be conscious, because the child is not for you alone. It's for all it's for the community. So the community should also be aware that the children of the child of Mr. A is also the child of Mr. D. So, but we don't care. my child, as you said, my child is my child, and your child is your child.
Your child.
If you did not caution the child of Mr. B, that child of Mr. B can now cause a problem to your own child. So that is why you need to,
the entire community.
yeah, or rather the entire community. So there is need for you to see, if you see anything, that's what they say, see something, say something.
Say something.
See bad, somebody is, a child is doing bad thing within the community, and you refuse to caution him, you don't know, maybe that will be the next,
the detriment of everyone.
Detriment of everyone. Okay. Your child, maybe the next target.
And the society, even the home.
And in the society, the home, it will go.
We've had cases where some children in the neighborhood will go to one house belonging to their friend because the friend has told, maybe the father came home with some money or the mother did, they will break into the house and steal it. And even though they don't mean any harm, sometimes somebody could end up being harmed.
Yes.
But we go to Calabar now, where there's talk about young adults getting involved in cultism. And once you get into a group or a cult such as that, little good comes from that. They eventually get involved in communal clashes, and it continues to go downhill from there. But it's from Calabar now that we'll get the main gist.
A human being below the age of 18 is generally referred to as a child. While growing up, this category of humans are possibly exposed to various kinds of risk. This may include health challenges, abandonment, bullying at schools, exposure to nannies, communal clashes, cultism, unguarded means of transportation, among others. Therefore, requires special attention.
We are living witnesses that sometimes a day-old child, 1 month, little child that knows nothing, you will hear has been abandoned. Abandoned for who? Animals could come there and eat up this child. Ritualists can come there and pick up this child to go and do their whatever.
The peculiarity with this case has to do with child exploitation. We have cultism. Those are the threats that are alive in Cross River State. And we also, of course, we also have sexual abuse in different phases.
The Nigeria Police Force in the state has not relented in its effort at visibility policing and visit to schools. Due to violent attacks observed on schools, the federal government initiated the Self School Project in May 2014 with a center at the headquarters of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Calabar, Cross River State.
We have been able to get to schools to sensitize them about child safety. You know, most of the time the children spend it in schools. And stakeholders for children, when it comes to children, you divide it into the family, you divide it into the school, you divide it into the community.
You'll be rest assured that on your way from your office to this place, if you didn't see a policeman on the road, you would have seen a patrol, police patrol team moving up and down, looking for nobody but for everybody, looking for nothing but for everything. And so we have put in place some level of visibility policing.
As it is inevitable to find children in unguided environment, it is pertinent to introduce them to safety tips as early as 5 years old. It is also important to develop school curriculum that contain security subjects while encouraging security clubs at schools.
You let the child know that you don't just talk to a stranger at any point in time. You let the child know that the fact that somebody is being nice, does that mean that person is a good person?
Parents are advised to always know where their children are. whether daytime or nighttime, because the heart of a child does not know when it is night or daytime. Anything that is chalked into it is highly accommodated.
While the child rights law is upheld in the state, note that any offense against children is punishable. Everyone should take responsibility on every child.
Interesting there. You know, you need to know where your wards and children are at every given time. And just exactly what the Commandant General was saying here, Dr. Usman Mohammed Jahun, you were saying that security should be part of the curriculum for schools.
Yes.
And that's what we heard from there as well. And knowing who our children are, who their friends are, and knowing where they are every time. We have 2-3 messages. Let me take them so you just attend to them. From Salami from Edo State says, parents should be able to take other children as their own. That is the way we can promote community policing of a kind. All the eyes of all the community are on every child in the community. Okay, we'll take this one. More are coming in. Salami, okay. Okay, Victor Chia from Makadi says, oftentimes we want to report suspicious activities, but no one is guaranteed of protection afterwards. How can we report what we see or what we consider suspicious and also be protected? What saves us from reprisal attack? Oftentimes we're not protected. Victor Chia from Makadi. So let me take one more. From Abubakar Imina. He says, hello to you. He thanks you for your comments. He said it's good to be security conscious, and the strong collaboration you're talking about is very good. Community participation is also very key because they are the eyes. They see and know everything. When they speak, everyone is safe. Thank you. Thank you for your contributions. Please keep them coming in.
Yeah, let me get straight to the man from Benue. He talks about crime reporting. Sometimes, whatever crime that is being committed, you report to the police. But if you think you are not safe, or if you think you are afraid to go to the police, use your traditional institution. You have your community leader, go to him, this is what is happening, they will go with you to the police and report. And that is how it is done. You don't just, if you think, you don't just go to the police like that, because if you think you will not be safe or you think a lot of questions will be asked, you have your traditional ruler there, go there, tell him this is what is happening within our community. And he will take it up, they will go with you to the police, and that will be reported. Refusing to report crime or criminality within our environment, it will escalate, and tomorrow you don't know what will happen. It can come to you that you refuse to report. So reporting of crime is very, very important. And it's very, yes,
But
key.
perhaps it's because of past experiences where people have reported, like you say, use the word reprisal.
Yes.
That is huge. Reprisal means that the entire cult group is coming on you.
Yes.
Sometimes they descend on you and your family. And why they are afraid, sometimes they have women and children in the family.
Yeah,
We've already accepted that women and children are the most vulnerable. So this word should not just be said here. There should be more enlightenment in communities, telling people how that their confidence will be protected and they will be safe when they speak up.
And you know, in reporting such type of a crime, sometimes you don't go to the desk, that is the police station, and say, look, okay, let me report it. Get the senior man there. Try to see the DPO or the DCO and report this kind of crime to him. Don't just go to the desk and say, okay, please, inspector or whatever, this is what is happening, this is what is happening, especially that has to do with cultism. Cult is a very serious issue that you need to be very careful while you are reporting it. And that is where the issue of consciousness come in. If you don't have the consciousness of even type of crime, this is the type of crime that I can go to the police station and just go and report. These are the type of crime that, no, this one requires the DPO to know. No, this one requires the Commissioner of Police to know directly, not any other person. So we should also be learning day by day so that we have that consciousness within us.
Thank you. Someone is saying here, Umar SK, he didn't tell us where he's reaching us from. He commends you. The Vigilante is working very hard nationwide, that everywhere they go, they see Vigilante making the difference because they are able to get information from the people where sometimes security agents will fail. He also goes on to say that insecurity has increased in some areas because some people have been engaged in vigilante work without those in charge knowing their background. That some of them have crime and criminality in their lifestyle. Some of them are spies for these groups. But we'll come back to address that. A break beckons now. Security consciousness is everyone's business, yours, mine, and when we're working collectively, we will see that we'll get more success. As we go to Kano now, the Commissioner of Police there says there are increased rates of armed robbery and snatching of phones, mischief amongst youths. He said, but the police is unrelenting, and a lot of these mischief makers and criminals are being arrested.
Today, it is very difficult to have a society that is totally free of security challenges. Proportion actually varies depending on the approach to tackling it. The nature of the crime also varies depending on the culture of the people. In Kano City, theft, phone snatching, banditry, assault and political thuggery are among common daily crimes committed.
The reports coming were that people cannot sleep with their eyes closed because of fear of attack. Attack mostly with weapon, deadly weapon. You are walking, you cannot carry your phone along with you. Somebody will just stop you, brought out knife or any kind of weapon and force you to surrender before you proceed. You will be in your shop, someone will come and put attack on you until he part away certain things.
Because easy target, within 1 minute or 2 minutes, they attack you and go away with your phone.
The rate of crime will have been compounded if not for the proactive measures by security agencies and stakeholders given the high population.
We have over 500 people right on the way, to my knowledge, that from the police headquarters here we have prosecuted and they are awaiting trial now. And that is why you see the state is calm. Most of the people who were into committing crime are behind the bar, and those who are intending, we call on them, come, submit yourself, let's talk, we educate you so that you can stop what you are doing, start something meaningful.
Nowadays, an immediate self-defense mechanism is emphasized on emergency cases.
Even somebody comes with a knife, even somebody comes with arm, if you have basic security knowledge, you have an idea to protect yourself, you have an idea to disarm him. Sub-target area, you understand this is sub-target, you know how to hide your something, you know how, if you're wearing agwada, you know how to tie to your agwada, because if you are going, if it is warranting to run, you are going to run.
Experts also advise that on sudden attack, to collect your phone, do not drag with the criminal. Rather, identify his physical features to give information to police. They believe gone are those days when a visitor could just come into city without prior knowledge on crime-prone areas to avoid them. There are also suggestions to use modern devices such as surveillance cameras and alarms, even though not everybody can afford them.
Our masses, they don't have capacity to buy those electronic items. That's why we emphasize about basic security knowledge.
It's yet to develop to this level because at this very particular moment, we need these modern security devices.
You can see it is all about culture. You will see an individual will build a house of 100 million naira house, but will not care to put camera. How much is a camera?
The importance of multi-sectoral approach at community level is emphasized.
We have to use initiative and look at those who are identified people, those who are doing this thing. Go and combine between the security agency and the other organization.
We are giving the security of the state community policing approach because everybody is a stakeholder. We are working together day and night.
It is great to have security men at your gate. Even better to have CCTV cameras that can tell you what happens even when you are not there. You know, earlier, one of our viewers asked about the vigilante group. It says there's been an infiltration in some vigilante groups nationwide because the background of some members was not properly researched. Before our Commander General says a word, let me just take another one so you answer both of them at the same time. Honorable Dauda is saying, well done, Commander General of Vigilante Group of Nigeria. He says, may God bless and protect you. Said you are doing a great job. He said, but they need your presence in Kabusa Ward. He also goes on to say, how do we know a real vigilante from a fake one? Because there are fakes, so he says.
Thank you. The first question, you see, Vigilante Group, as we said earlier on, is a community-based security organization. But we have organized ourselves perfectly. We have our database, we have everything is standard when you get to our office. But sometimes somebody somewhere will just wake up and go and register some hoodlums and call them vigilante groups. That is where we're having problem. And though we have set up a task force, and the task force is working now, arresting all these kind of fake vigilante groups everywhere. If you are not, like my ID card is digital ID card. When we get you through my phone, I can get to know whether you are a real vigilante group or a fake vigilante group because it has been digitalized. And that is how all the vigilante groups are throughout the country. How do you now know that this one is real vigilante and this one is fake vigilante? Through his ID card. You see, a digital ID card is the real vigilante nationwide. We have more than 2 million registered members in our database.
Interesting.
Yes. So, and by the time you look at his ID card and you look at his badge, like this badge, and we have other features that we put, and within that your locality.
But they don't always wear uniforms, do they?
No, they wear uniform.
Every vigilante nationwide
wears uniform. And though we have very few who are like our intelligence officers, going within getting more information, then we act on the information. Yes, so those type of vigilante groups, like some communities, when you go there, you ask for their registration. We have a registration certificate by the government. Then we give you part of the registration certificate, put it in your office. If they don't have that registration, that means they are fake vigilante groups. And there is a tendency for us to go and arrest them. Then the man that said they need the presence of vigilante group in
Kabusa Ward.
In Kabusa Ward. We have taken out of Kabusa Ward. We will talk to, I think it's under which area council. We'll look at it, then we'll tell the man in charge of the area council. They will go to Kabusa Ward
and expedite action.
Yeah, I made the chief there and expedite action and make sure that you have vigilante group.
Okay.
Effective one, yes.
Okay, Alfred from Jalingo says he appreciates this topic we're talking about, which is security consciousness. He said, however, at times, when you try to report to security about a suspected criminal, they make you the suspect. The hunter becomes the hunted. It has happened to many innocent people, to the extent that many of us are afraid. When we see, we don't say anything. Alfred from Jalingo.
Yes. You see, reporting of crime. You don't just see something and just go and report.
You've explained it, yes.
You see, get to understand what is really happening. You cannot come and say, I saw madam, it seems you want to steal something. Then I'll go and tell the police, it's still that woman want to steal something. And when the police now understand that you don't even know what you are doing, they will not listen to you.
No, he is saying that the hunter becomes the hunted. Not only won't they listen, they turn you into the criminal.
Yes. You see, you cannot report something without evidence.
Okay.
Whatever you want to report, there should be an evidence there. If there is no evidence to prove, like, okay, somebody died, maybe he was knocked down by a vehicle and he died instantly in that place, and you didn't have, you should have gotten some eyewitness there, so that you take the eyewitness,
Or
you go to the police.
Pictures?
Or some pictures,
Okay.
or whatever. Then you just go yourself. You say somebody died. The police will hold you there. You have to tell them, how did you know that this person was knocked down by a vehicle and died? That is why people sometimes they think they are. You see, you should know how the police operate before you be able to say, okay, this is any blame game.
You know, sometimes we ignore those people that are around our streets. Perhaps the man that repairs shoes, perhaps the man that carries the machine around, perhaps the person selling little bits and pieces there. They are the eyes of many a community. Even those who operate the POS machines, they are the eyes of every community. And we can utilize them to promote safety. Commander General of the Vigilante Group of Nigeria, as we wrap up, Balaji from Jos is saying that the NOA should do more about enlightenment, especially as it involves individual security consciousness.
Yes, security education is very vital. The National Orientation Agency should take up this as a very serious issue and enlighten the public, because without this security, you cannot even do anything. Personal security, community security, environmental security, whatever security, try as much as you can to make sure that you secure yourself. From your own personal self, your own house, even within the community. That's why they say everybody should be everybody's keeper. Put your eye within your community and make sure that you report things that you see that they are suspicious within you. You cannot report it, you have a traditional ruler, tell him, then you go to the police together and make sure you report that issue.
Thank you, Dr. Usman Mohammed Jahun, Commander General, Vigilante Group of Nigeria. Very enlightening discourse there. We wish you well as you continue to be patriotic and secure the lives and property of Nigerians in tandem with other security agencies. Thank you for being a part of our show. You are your best security manpower. And when you see something, say something. God bless Nigeria. All of us here, it's bye-bye.